Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. If you're a beginner standing right at the starting line of your Japanese language journey, I completely get it. You've probably stared at a massive wall of complex kanji characters and just felt totally overwhelmed, right? Like you're trying to decode ancient alien scribbles or something. Well, trust me, you are definitely not alone. Today we're going to look at a highly structured, honestly really exciting method to completely bypass all that frustration of learning Japanese kanji from scratch. We are going to use what I like to call the kanji cheat code. So let's dive right into this and unlock a completely predictable system to help you acquire vocabulary rapidly. Here's our quick roadmap for today. First, the kanji cheat code. Second, visualizing characters. Third, the pronunciation bridge. Fourth, practice with the character for teach. Fifth, a daily dictionary routine. And finally, number 6, a weekly success plan. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the kanji cheat code. So there's this massive aha moment from our source material that is an absolute game changer. The author realized a really fundamental truth after years of study. Because Korea, China, and Japan all share this historical cultural root in Chinese characters, what we call hanja in Korean or kanji in Japanese, we can actually deduce regular, predictable pronunciation rules across them. Think about that for a second. Instead of relying on this agonizing brute force memorization, if you already know the root sound in a language like Korean, you can logically predict what that exact same sound is going to be in Japanese. Now, to use this cheat code properly, we do need to set up some boundaries. Japanese kanji generally have 2 different types of readings. First, you have onyomi, which are the sound readings directly imported from those ancient Chinese roots. And then you have kunyomi, which are the native Japanese meaning readings. So here's the absolutely crucial point. Our cheat code targets the onyomi. Because they share that ancient root, the onyomi follow incredibly predictable sound patterns. If we just focus heavily on onyomi first, we can rapidly build up a massive vocabulary base with very little friction. Moving right along to section 2, visualizing complex characters. Let's actually make this concrete. Take a look at the character for teach. At first glance, I know, it just looks like this dense, chaotic cluster of lines. But let's really anchor it visually. It consists of exactly 11 strokes. See that right side? That features a specific component or a radical that means to strike or action. By visualizing the character not as a bunch of random scribbles, but as these little structured building blocks, we instantly lower the barrier to entry. Every single time you see this exact structure pop up, you instantly know it relates to teaching or education. Which brings us to section 3, the pronunciation bridge. This is where the magic actually happens. Look at the direct phonetic comparison crossing this linguistic bridge. In Korean, the hanja sound for that teach character we literally just looked at is gyo. When we cross over into the Japanese onyomi, it predictably shifts to kyo. Gyo simply becomes kyo. And the best part, once your brain recognizes this one specific phonetic shift, it applies almost universally to pretty much every compound word that uses this root character. Let's put this into action. Section 4, practice with the character for teach. Check out these everyday words. On the left, we have super common words relying on that teach root. The Korean word for education is kyoyok. Applying our bridge, the Japanese onyomi perfectly aligns as kyoyoik. Look at the next one. Classroom. Kyoshil predictably becomes kyoshitsu. Notice how that kyo sound remains an absolute constant? By just knowing one single root character and its phonetic bridge, you've instantly unlocked multiple Japanese words. It's so cool. Let's do a couple more just to really cement this pattern recognition for you. Religion in Korean is jongyo. Over in Japanese, it's shukyo. Professor is gyosu, which seamlessly turns into kyoju. Honestly, whether the kyo sound is at the very beginning of the word or at the end, the rule holds completely firm. This proves to absolute beginners that this isn't just some weird fluke. It's a super consistent rule you can rely on daily. Now for the application. Section 5. Daily dictionary study routine. We've distilled this into a really simple, highly actionable 3-step field playbook you can use every day. Step 1, whenever you encounter a new word, just search for its underlying root character. Step 2, explicitly compare its root sound in a language you already know, like Korean, to its Japanese onyomi. Step 3, please don't memorize the whole word blindly. Instead, memorize that linked pronunciation pattern. And to do this efficiently, you're going to need the right tools. Here we're looking at the Naver Japanese and Korean dictionary sites side by side. I absolutely highly recommend pulling these specific sites up on your phone or your browser every day. When you look up a word, cross-reference it. Find that hanja root in the Korean dictionary and then just plug that exact character straight into the Japanese dictionary. Seeing the onyomi reading listed right there bridges the gap for your brain in real time. Plus, it literally takes seconds to do. And finally, Section 6, your weekly success study plan. To make sure you don't burn out, here is a highly achievable weekly timeline for you. On days 1 and 2, just pick one single root character and visualize its components, exactly like we did with teach. Days 3 and 4, map that phonetic bridge. Really verify how its sound shifts over. Days 5 and 6, practice finding and reading 5 common compound words that use that character. And day 7, just review and let your brain rest. By pacing yourself like this, you're ensuring deep, structured learning rather than just superficial cramming. So, just to wrap up these practical field memorization tips for you, start your journey with everyday words you're already familiar with. Focus your primary energy right now on finding those predictable onyomi sound patterns. Remember that kunyomi, those native Japanese meanings, they're irregular, so just keep them in a totally separate mental bucket to memorize later on. And most importantly, make cross-referencing with dictionary sites a non-negotiable daily habit. All right, I want to leave you with this one pretty provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today. If you come from a background where you naturally, intuitively understand hundreds of these root hanja words, how much of the Japanese language is literally already sitting right there, dormant in your brain, just waiting for you to apply the phonetic bridge? Seriously, think about it. You aren't starting from zero. You are starting with a massive hidden advantage. So get out there, open those dictionaries, and start unlocking your vocabulary. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy studying!